This video is intended to be just a quick review of distribution, or the distributive property. And the first thing I just want to touch upon is this first example, which I have written twice right here. When you see parentheses, I tend to think distribution, and a lot of kids start to go like this after they learn the distribution property. And so what I would encourage you to think about is, just because I see parentheses doesn't mean I automatically distribute. First, I look inside the parentheses and see if I can do anything. That is the order of operations taking over. And I can add 5 plus 4. That is 9. So this is going to be 3 times 9, which is 27. Now, if you distribute anyway, and you do 3 times 5 is 15, plus 3 times 4 is 12. 15 plus 12 is 27. You still get the same answer, but really, this is the preferred method of attack when you can simplify inside the parentheses. Now in this next example right here, 2x plus 4, I look inside the parentheses, there's nothing I can do there. So now, yes, I am going to distribute. That's the only way I can deal with the parentheses. 3 times 2x plus 3 times 4 is 6x plus 12. That's that. Next example. Actually, before we get going too far, let's press pause now and copy everything on this page. And this is just a list of suggestions, and take it for what it's worth. Before you get going too quickly, look to see if you can combine inside the parentheses first, right? Apply the order of operations if possible, like that 3 times the 5 plus 4 piece, right? That 5 plus 4 inside the parentheses, you can combine that. Make your world easier. If not, then go ahead and distribute the outside term, right, to all of the terms inside the parentheses. And watch your signs. How do you watch your signs? I like to talk the problem out. So just like I talk the problems out in this video, talk them out to yourself. Then check your final answer for like terms and simplify if necessary. The last couple of examples will be a good explanation of that last sentence. All right, now let's get going. Again, all I want to do here is just sort of guide you through several problems of varying levels of difficulty. I have a -3 times 1, and so I'm going to keep writing this out. -3 times 1 plus a -3 times 4p. So first, the -3 times 1 is going to give us -3. And then I have a -3 times 4p, which is a -12p. Now this step right here, as you get better, is really not necessary to write out. So we'll try it without that step in the next example. And I'm just going to talk it out. +7 times a +3x is a +21x, and a +7 times a +10 is a +70. That's it. Now what I'd like to do before I move on is just to take a look at these final answers. Are there any like terms to be combined? And the answer for both of these is no. The only other alternative I can see is for this first example, perhaps -12p minus 3 might be the preferred final answer, and the only difference between the two is this constant is written at the end. Moving right along, and hopefully you're working along with me, I see the parentheses. Inside there is nothing to combine here, so I'm going to distribute. +3 times +2 is a +6, and a +3 times a +5a is a +15a, and this -8 just comes down along for the ride. It's not inside the parentheses, so I will not distribute to it. Notice I didn't draw any arcs to the -8. Now this is where my last slide comes into play. I had mentioned to take a look at this final answer. We have some like terms. 6 and -8 go together, so 15a just drops down, and 6 minus 8 is a -2, for a final answer of 15a minus 2. Again, I look inside my parentheses. There is nothing to combine, so I'll draw my arcs to remind me to distribute the 4 to those two terms. +4 times a +5a is a +20a. A +4 times a +4 is a +16. Minus 2, the 2 just comes down for the ride. 20a drops down, but my 16 and my negative 2 are both constants. I could combine them, and 16 minus 2 is positive 14. And there's my final answer. Now, I have a little bit of a difference in the setup. This variable expression out here is not going to be dealt with at this level, so I'm just going to drop it down. The 2v just comes down. And now I look inside my parentheses, nothing to combine, so I guess I'll have to distribute. And now I'm looking at this positive 10 times a negative 10. A positive 10 times a negative 10v is going to be negative 100v, and a positive 10 times a positive 3 is a positive 30. Now I have some like terms to combine. My 2v and a negative 100v leaves me with a negative 98v, and the 30 just comes right down. And that's my final answer there. So as you see, this is just a matter of careful distribution and talking it out to yourself. Now, whether you need to do that aloud at home or to yourself silently in the class, it's the best way not to make any mistakes. Again, this negative 9 is just out here in the front. It's not going to get distributed, so it just comes along for the ride. Now, I have a negative 6, and I'm going to distribute that to both of these terms. Negative 6 times a positive x is a negative 6x, and a negative 6 times a negative 6 is going to be positive 36. Then I have a negative 9 and a positive 36. They are like terms. My negative 6x just comes down for the ride. It's just going to drop down. And 36 minus 9 is a positive 27. And that's my final answer. Good luck. Keep working. Practice makes perfect.